How's it been? Good seeing you.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah, there's lots of eye candy.
Wow. So beautiful. How big is that one?
Oh, that is 58 by 88, I believe.
Yeah.
It's up there. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's beautiful. I've seen that one before. So awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty magical.
And then who's this? I know who this is, but I can't remember the names.
That's Marlon Holden.
Man, awesome use of light.
Yeah, Marlon has a way of rendering light. It's very dense, but the tonality and the richness, it really has a lot of drama and mood that he captures.
Yeah, that dark look is really hard to do well in a print.
It's very difficult, but
yeah,
he pulls it off really well.
Man, that's done so well. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but dang. Excellent, beautiful.
Yeah, the camera never really does justice to the Lumachrome.
Well, that's about a
60-inch.
60, yeah. I love the size. This is like the perfect size. You can stick it in your car. You know, you don't have to have a truck or something, and it's just.
That used to be the unobtainable size.
Yeah. Oh yeah, not very long ago. Unless you had like 8 by 10, 4 by 5, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. If you're a large format shooter, you could do that.
Yeah, that's a amazing photo. The color gamut and variation and dark and light and
dimensionality.
That just absolutely. I mean, I wish people could see that. Like, you know, put their nose on it. That just screams Lumachrome to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really
William
good
Toddy.
William Toddy, yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. That is, man. I want that photo. I want to take that photo. I don't like.
I want to go there.
I don't like stealing people's ideas, but man, that is awesome. It's so stormy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you know.
Do you know where that is? Is that like?
It's in Italy.
Italy.
I believe it's Italy.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Whoever lives there, man.
Yeah, that's lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Is this yours or no? That's
Marlon Holden again.
Yeah. That's another one of those images that's like so hard to print real well because of there's some moodiness to it. A little bit of dark in there, but all of those are freaking marketable.
It's hard to keep in all of these ones we have here. It's difficult to keep the shadow fidelity and maintain that sense of color and texture and dimensionality. Yeah. Whereas, you know, a lot of the traditional techniques just lose that.
Wow. I'm assuming that like this one and this one, yeah, these two probably are clipping just a little bit like the spotlights, specular highlights, maybe, and then maybe the sun and a couple of the specular highlights, but, right? Probably clipping just a hair.
It may be possible there's a pixel or two in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I see color in this, even in the sun. So, yeah, beautiful, just absolutely amazing. And the Lumachrome, gosh, these are just like perfect for Lumachrome. Oh, well, by the way, I got my Lumachrome.
I just got my Lumachrome HD print. I'm outside, look. There's almost no reflections, and I'm outside. I'm in the Southwest, and I finally have finished this photo forever. I've processed it probably 100 times using it as a teaching tool. Most of you have seen it in so many videos and examples. But man, I don't know how close this thing can get to focusing. But the detail is just immaculate.
Whip it out.
Yeah, it's not big. I used to think this was massive.
Well, when you have it in front of you, yeah.
Yeah, it's
and
still
10, 15 years ago, it was enormous.
Yeah, if anybody who's watching this has seen my video tutorials, they're so sick of this photo, almost as sick as I am, because I took it like 2005 4 or 5, and I've reprocessed it for video tutorials and just reprocessed it hundreds. I've printed this on every, Flex and Lumachrome and everything, and I just wanted to get it done. But I'll tell you what, though, gosh, this is just the metallicness, the 3 dimensions, how it changes, and you got to put it under the right light.
Yes.
You got to put it
well,
under
it's
the right light.
impossible to see it without light.
You'd
but
never know.
The quality of the light is paramount to getting everything out of it.
I think I don't ever have to process it again, but I wanted it a small size because I wanted to be able to show it to my workshops when I'm talking about Lumachrome, and processing and stuff, and just have an example. But I wanted to be able to 4-wheel in the back of my vehicle, or put it in a suitcase if I decide to ship it back home, stuff like that.
Save the packing material.
Yeah, so thank you, man, for doing that for me. It's so awesome. Well, I guess we're gonna get interviewed.
Yeah. Bring them on.
Bring them on. We'll do our best. You want to go first?
Sure. All right, well, my name is Robert Park. I am a full-time printmaker and photographer. I have a company called Nevada Art Printers, where we make the largest acrylic prints in the country. And I've also been a gallery photographer. I've had 5 galleries, one on the Vegas Strip, Zion National Park, St. George, Utah. And I've been doing it for 19 years full time.
Big names too. You've combined with big names too. Yep. Yeah. From what I know, you seem to know everybody. A lot of people.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know the important people.
Yeah. So how long have you been, you were a photographer who did galleries, and then what got you into print?
When I started in 2000, there were no digital cameras. So everything was filmed, so you had either 35 millimeter, medium format, or large format. And I had a gallery, so the thing to do was to be 4 by 5. If you wanted a 40 by 50 print, you had to be shooting 4 by 5. So I was shooting 4 by 5 and 5 by 7 for several years before we opened the gallery. And in those days, there was artists that were painters, and they would want to get what they call a copy slide, or an art reproduction slide. So that was a large format 4 by 5 transparency that we would shoot for them. So they would seek out large format photographers, and being that it was only myself and Michael Fatale in Zion at the time in southern Utah, they would seek me out, and I was doing a lot of that, and shooting 4 by 5s led into
You're one of the early Zion guys.
Yeah.
For like digital and stuff too. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. So a lot of people would then ask me, can you scan it? Which led to purchasing 2 drum scanners, and then can you make giclées?
You guys got drum scans, huh?
Yeah.
Those are awesome.
Yeah.
They weren't cheap either.
No, they were not cheap, and they were hot, expensive to run, and it was a lot of effort. Drum scanning was a lot of effort with the oil and mounting and cleaning up, but it was worth it. It was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
If you wanted everything out of it. So that led to printing, and at that time it was all, it was either these were all inkjet prints, because these were giclée prints that the artists wanted. So I purchased 2 44-inch printers and started printing back in 2003.
Oh wow.
Large format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a background, I know, in engineering and such, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I worked in prototype R&D for 14 years.
Yeah. You got like the scientific
Mr. Gadget.
PhD crazy mind. Yeah.
Mad scientist.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mad scientist. Yeah. People always think they tell me I am, but it's like, when I talk to Robert, sometimes a lot of times I don't even know what he's talking about. Yeah. And you're from New York.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Actually, I was born in New Jersey, but
New Jersey.
After I graduated college, I went to New York, started in prototype R&D, and actually made cameras, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was, you know, when you're working in
a-
a place where you have full machine shop and 3-axis CNC technologies and 3D
Nice.
printing technologies back in
Wow.
the 90s, you know,
Well, that makes
making
sense.
a camera was pretty easy.
Yeah, that's awesome. See, I got involved in photography, you know, always a hobbyist. My dad was a world-class mountain climber, but didn't know anything about anything and didn't have a passion for it. I just did it on the side. But 2002, 2001, but I always know the date because 2003 is when Adobe Camera Raw came out. And I had the big 6 megapixel and
Wow,
it was
monster.
yeah, oh, it was awesome. And then, well, I think the biggest was like 10 or 8 or something like that at the time. But when Camera Raw came out, it was like, what is this? And it was like, oh, this is like a digital negative. And it was like, look how, you know, it's got this flexibility because you had JPEGs or TIFFs or film. And everybody was like, you need to go film, need to go film. But I really saw, I think this is coming on fast and that flexibility I wanted. And so I stuck it out with 6 and then 8 and then 12 or whatever megapixels. But I think by, so that's 2001, 2, I was going to school and bug bit me. 2003, I was full on with a digital SLR, traveling a lot, and I just knew I wanted to do it. And then I think maybe a couple years later, probably 2 years later, two years later, people started seeing my work online and asking me to do workshops. And I was like, what's that? You know, and I was like, okay. They'd come and I'd take them around Oregon. And that just led into a full-time career pretty fast. And
An early success story.
long road, long, slow road. Yeah, I saw some people go, you know, and then some people went and then came back down. I was like, you know, that would be cool, but as long as I can just keep going like this,
Yeah.
because I knew I wanted to do it full time, and I worked part-time jobs and finally didn't have to do that anymore. And workshops, doing post-processing for other people, for gallery photographers, that came very quick when I moved to Vegas. Oh yeah, I guess I should mention that. So the bug bit me and went full on. I met Ken Duncan from Australia. He mentored me, and I got to come to Australia, and he was a big encouragement to me. And my dad was living in Vegas. And so I'd come down and visit my dad. I was like, why are you living in Vegas? He's a mountain climber. But economy was rocking, 2005, 4, 5.
It was exploding.
Exploding. And all of a sudden, I don't know, just the wild idea, hey, let's do a gallery in Las Vegas. Strip. Or whatever
Yeah.
we could pull off. Made some big decisions and had investors and stuff, but then economy happened, and then it was like, okay, now what do I do? I really loved that idea of having a gallery. So I just drool every time I probably went into your gallery and didn't even know it. But I just drool those, or Ken Duncan's or whatever, the people here in Vegas. And but it didn't work out, but luckily we weren't in the investment massively. And then I was like, what do I do now? And I really have always just been massively passionate about and interested in learning the whole Photoshop post-processing and trying to push things to their max and printmaking. I was making prints really early. And so I just got more and more obsessed and began to, I actually started out with a Craigslist ad after the total fail of the beginnings of a gallery. But enough people came to my house to just want to learn how to use their camera, how to use Camera Raw. Or that's when Camera Raw was,
Grassroots
Lightroom
marketing.
wasn't here, and Camera Raw here. It was Camera Raw, and it was like, oh, what's this Lightroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I began a educational and doing work for print for people, Fujiflex on acrylic. That was before I even knew that like the big name in Vegas was doing that. Or I don't know when you started doing that either, but
It was around 2011.
11?
We opened the lab, yeah.
Yeah, I was doing them in 6. And it was because Ken, he told me, you gotta print on this.
Yeah, I was doing Flex in 2006, but
Acrylic
we had our
mount?
own lab. In 2011 we opened.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Have your own lab.
Yeah.
I've never gone that far. That's awesome. Anyway, so I've just been doing post-processing for other people, pushing skills, doing workshops, Northwest, Southwest, other countries sometimes, stuff like that. And yeah, and now main bread and butter is I do post-processing work for gallery photographers or individuals that want awesome quality. And I do workshops and educational materials too. So.
And drive all over the country feeding OPEC money.
Been across the country, I think it's
Burning
5
up.
times now in the last 4 years, from Florida to Oregon and all in between.
Burning rubber.
I'm pretending I'm 20 years old.
That won't last for long.
No, I think not. Heck yeah.
Well, actually, the evidence is there that the camera manufacturers are moving towards where the majority of image usage is, and that's the web-based images. So the next generation of cameras are all going to be between 3 and 6 megapixels with ultra high speed, and super low noise, and like ISO 1 million. Not.
Yeah. How many megapixels do you need to resolve for a nice screen?
For a nice screen? Oh,
Yeah.
geez. Yeah, what, 6 megapixels?
Yeah, 6 million.
Yeah, 6 megapixels.
6 or 8 million.
Yeah,
So-
that's 2,000 by
So
3,000.
cameras,
Yeah,
and so that something's driving the market aside from just ego or whatever it is. Yeah, people are printing. I mean, my experience is I heard that in our one of the podcasts that we did, and are people still printing anymore? And oh man,
oh yeah.
I've only seen it go like this.
Yeah, it's become go big or go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this little this size used to like totally impress me, but
Yes, back in the cave days,
yeah, I would be just like, wow, I can't believe
that was big.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is we see a lot of stuff, and we see this definite trend of much larger images, and it's the go big or go home, but it's also when you see a 48-72 or a 60-90 that
Go
is
big with quality.
just incredible quality. When the clients walk into a gallery and they see this, they know, boy, this photographer, he's something special. He knows what he's doing. This isn't what I saw at that craft fair.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. Like for me, a Lumachrome under the right lighting, push to splitting every hair in the processing chain to try to optimize it, and then sending it to you for whatever you do, and then man,
Yeah, it's all inspiring. But you know what? That's where you make your mark, and that's where the guys in galleries that are selling, even there's a very, very notable photographer who doesn't have a gallery, and he's selling direct online, and his prints are huge, and that's where he's made his mark. And if you take a look at it, the people that are making their mark, Andreas Gursky, is he printing 16 by 24s and metal prints in 24 by 36s? No, he's printing enormous prints.
That's the guy who sold like the most
expensive. Yeah, and it was a $5.4 million acrylic print. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's where they're making their mark.
Well, what we're basically saying, or what you're saying, is technology is just moving this direction. These are like some most incredible years ever in photography. The cameras, new printing methods, technologies, processing technologies, everything is coming to this like wow zone.
Yeah, very rapidly.
People are doing it. Like you're supplying like hundreds of galleries.
and your business is just like you're overwhelmed with business. I'm overwhelmed with processing, for gallery business. So I only would say, I don't know about the rest of the world. I don't know Europe. I don't know. I just know the United States. And I also, there's probably a variety of factors, but more people have cameras, more people are photographing. Seems like there's a lot more photographers. People are taking photography more seriously.
It's more accessible. The technology is on our side. Technology is not going to move backwards. And I also think that with there's a lot of talk about the rise of AI. And AI is benefiting us in certain ways. I was reading
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I was reading. Someone was, hypothesizing about AI in the future, where AI could potentially learn the way you like your images and process everything that way. You don't have to do anything and just go click. But that is going to remove all the creative elements and the creative aspect. So I think AI can work against us in some ways, but that'll set the people apart that are truly creating compelling images and special things, and like the prep for prints, like all the things that go into that. There's nothing automated about that. There's nothing at all. Everything is hand done and analyzed for impact and all, and in the way an artist is going to prep his file. But AI can also, be a pretty huge benefit. There's some advances lately with AI, in processing that. Well, sometimes there's some pretty cool things that the AI can do.
Yeah.
Well, you want to?
I'll give the simple answer. No, there's no push button AI that does what we're doing. I wish, but I will say that it's two things I would say about it. AI, artificial intelligence in our programs, and it's in Photoshop now. And I'm also hearing some things about like where it's kind of going. I'm also hearing some insider stuff that's pretty trippy to me. Like, we don't know how it's doing what it's doing. We're just feeding the machine. But anyways, that's a side issue. Anyway, but no, I wish there was. And if there was, I'd say, yeah, we're just, we're using this product or whatever. No, it's not. It's in its infancy. But where it does its, I don't like the word magic, but it's just incredible advancement far beyond.
It seems to have just hit it out of the park.
Yeah, where it hits it out of the park is very spotty, patchy, and I've never seen it ever do it to like a whole image or anything. So it can be part of this eclectic assortment of things, proprietary techniques that you've innovated, or I have, or we both have, or that we're pulling all together. But AI is now starting to have more and more of a place there, but it's not no way.
Yeah.
It's optimizing the whole sequence in the chain, and including some really cool special techniques that we require NDA.
Yeah, I would say it's a part that sometimes we use, sometimes we don't. For some things we can use it to great advantage. The problem that is with AI, and this is looking way down the road, if you consider AI is constantly learning what people like, because like Google, it's a centralized thing. It's constantly learning what everybody likes or what all these images are.
I'm seeing improvements in various forms of AI in my workflow, sometimes on a weekly or monthly basis, sometimes step backs and then step forwards. But the problem, the ultimate problem with AI, and if you hand your processing over to AI, is it will learn what everybody likes, and ultimately
every picture that AI gets a hold of is going to wind up looking the same. That's the ultimate, downside, because there will just be a sameness to everything.
There's a brain there almost.
It knows what people likes, and it's just always
it's just doing it. Doing
but
what it thinks it should do.
But the bottom line, and what I'm trying to get to in that is that there's artistic decisions that get made in sizing and prepping and how to do this, what's going to work best for this, what's going to work best for that, on an image by image basis, and
or area by area basis.
Area
too,
by area,
image,
local detail clusters and so forth. And
Skies
that's where the
lands.
magic comes into the image, the printed image.
Yeah, what we're teaching people is basically gain control of starting from the camera and every link in the chain to I would say a masterpiece print in terms of the equipment the person's given and the shooting conditions, and then they can scale back the things that they may not need in terms of how fast they need to process.
Right.
But they have the whole thing, like on a print workshop, and we give that all by video to people.
And this is all Photoshop centric things, because these are all in layers, and layer masked in and so forth, which
you can't take Photoshop out of it. Yeah.
You can't, Lightroom
Maybe one day Lightroom and Camera Raw will be Photoshop or whatever. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what, like 5 years from now, I have no idea. We might be like, what?
It's like, Mama, don't take my Kodachrome. Mama, don't take my Photoshop away.
Yeah. Well, I think we're entering an era. That brings up a really cool question that we might get asked, but I think we're entering an era as significant as when film went to digital. For those who were alive, that were photographers, it overturned everything. Everything changed. People who stayed back behind, and it's like, nope, I'm sticking to film. I remember going to a seminar, top, photography people, and they would say, I want to tell you how many people are shooting film, how many people are shooting digital, and then they said, something to the extent of, well, if you're not shooting digital, I just want to say you're going to get left behind. Fortunes are being reversed. And then just a few years later, I was getting phone calls from people saying, man, can you give me Skype lessons? I need to learn that digital stuff. I needed to learn because I'm way behind, and now my gallery or my product or whatever I'm doing is suffering, and some people just got left behind. So it was a massive change in the history of photography. I believe that people may not be thinking about this a lot, but I think people are starting to figure it out. This AI and just technology altogether, artificial intelligence coming into a lot of things, plus technological advancements, that we're entering another era where 10 years from now, I don't even think we can even understand what 10 years is going to be.
Yeah, because there's like the doubling of technology, like every 2 years or so.
So don't get behind, don't get set in your ways, and
get on the train before it leaves the station.
That's a good one.
Yeah.